All right, guys, we're back live. Look, we gotta do ask me questions. Okay. Had to cut the last live stream short. The guys came in, spray for scorpions. Little did I know I thought they were just gonna do the outside. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'm gonna go live, do a live stream. You guys spray that outside. No, they wanted to come in also. So then that of course got my dogs going crazy. And that disrupted my flow of my train of thought. I was in a mood. I was on one, guys. And then Husky had to be a Husky cuz he's curious about everything. So, I'm back. We're going to go through questions. I actually had a lot of questions this weekend from people who are considering or they're trying to get into research or they are already working in research and they want to switch to another position, another company. It's never been a better time. Here's somebody on Instagram. I'm in New York. I wanted to know about your course. So I sent him over to the CRC Academy. We actually have a partnership with Mount Sinai in Manhattan for our interns in the tri state area. I memorized your 5 hour crash course. There's no way you memorize it, but you got to understand the concepts. That's right. That's right. So put him in touch with Monica. Another person. Look at this, guys. Look at this, and you tell me what you think. Okay. I'm a cardiac RN with 20 years of experience as an RN, not research experience. 20 years of RN experience. I'm looking to get into clinical research. I live in New Jersey. Am I qualified? So I said, yes. You know what? Um, CRA Academy will provide internship. CRC Academy. We also have a partnership with Mount Sinai. And I forgot to tell her this. We have a partnership with Mount Sinai in Manhattan for tri-state area interns. So, as an RN with 20 years, I just did a student CV the other day, nurse practitioner. She did our CRA Academy. She's going to have no problem getting a job. Now, the first one she finds might not be a CRA, but it might. Most likely, it's going to be something like remote site monitor or in-house CRA or CRC. And as an NP, it's a sub-I. I mean, my business partner here in Yuma, Jaime, he's a sub-I. Nurses, if you have clinical background, it's going to be much easier and hands-on patient experience. It's going to be much easier for you to get your foot in the door. Okay, than somebody who, let's say, has a Bachelor of Arts degree, or like the person who asked me the question over the weekend about, they have a BA and they've spent the last 10 years working in tourism. It's going to be a little tougher. It doesn't mean you're excluded. This is not like actual study where there's inclusion exclusion criterias. To work in research, you almost don't even need a bachelor's degree. I know so many MAs, so many people without bachelor's degrees that started out as research assistants, became coordinators, became site directors. Some of them became site owners. Some of them are even grandfathered into CRA roles. I had somebody on TikTok who's been a CRA for like 20 years that was pissed at me. Let me find the TikTok. They were pissed at me for telling people that to be a CRA, you need a bachelor's degree. And she said, no, that's not the case for me. Well, it's an exception. Okay, if you have enough experience as a CRC, 2 decades of experience, you're probably grandfathered in. But what I'm letting people know in general is you basically can't if you don't have that experience. That's what I meant. But I'm trying to find. Okay, here's somebody. It was on TikTok. So go follow me on TikTok. It was nice talking to you. I followed your advice. Now I've accepted my internship at 2 places. And not sure which I should choose to start my career. Can you decide where to go? So one is for kids, pediatrics, and one is diabetes and endocrinology. You can't go wrong with either one. I think pediatrics is always in demand. Always, right? Here's the thing about pediatrics. Uh there are, just like I always say, there's good times and bad times in clinical research, and right now I think this next decade's going to be like a boom. Um oh, and then Christine Nara saying, I saw the angry TikTokers. See? The angry TikToker said she agreed to the interview. Has it been recorded yet? No, Christine. I actually can't find who it is right now. I glanced at my TikTok. I gotta go look through it again and see. Set something up today. I wish I could have her on live now. But pediatrics, and oncology never, never go through bad periods in research. Like everything else pretty much does. Psych goes through cycles. Ophthalmology goes through cycles. Oncology, it seems like it never does. And pediatrics seems like it never does. Those are always in demand. So if we're splitting hairs, first of all, this person can't go wrong. An internship's an internship. As you're at a research site, you're going to eventually be a coordinator. I mean, if you're like a go-getter, smart, ambitious, you're gonna get the coordinator opportunity. And then you're gonna get other opportunities, like the person who said, hey, their site director passed away suddenly and now everything's a mess. Of course everything's a mess. And this person's asking for permission. They didn't even say can I. They said, who is qualified to take over? And I said to her back, the kind of person who doesn't need to ask. That's the kind of person. And by the way, nobody's going to be ready for this. If you wait till you're ready, you're going to wait forever. You're going to become ready once you start doing. So it's really just a mindset and a mentality and not any qualifications. Like, because you have let's say a CCRP certification doesn't mean you're qualified to take over the site whose site director suddenly passed away. Right? Because you've been a CRA maybe in the past doesn't mean you're qualified. Because you're a coordinator doesn't mean you're qualified. Because you're a research assistant there doesn't mean you're qualified. In those kind of situations, chaotic situations, what it requires is somebody willing to step in and do it and learn as they go. That's the kind of industry we're in right now. It may not be that dramatic with somebody dying suddenly and opening up opportunities, but the opportunities are out there. The opportunities are out there. So pediatrics, if you have to choose pediatrics and oncology, I've never seen a period in time where those two niche areas of research get slow. Never. Uh, so Christine, help me find that angry TikToker, please, if you can. I don't know how to use TikTok. I gotta do another one. I'm gonna have to go through. The problem with TikTok is when I get on there, I get lost. I get lost in the whirlpool of consuming content rather than creating it. That's why I don't go on there. But I need to. I need to find her. Good morning. Agree. You don't need a degree to work in research. However, it will make getting your foot in the door a little more difficult. But once you're in, you're good. Exactly, Alicia. Exactly. The person with tourism experience should check out MD Group. Thank you, Ellen. I'll let her know. Christine says, I think the issue is people without a degree turn down jobs that will lead them to CRA. If CRA is your goal, I strongly suggest accepting roles that can get you in the CRA seats. Christine's going to find her. Let's find that angry TikToker who said, how dare you say you don't need a degree? Well, when I look under the hood of her situation, I see 2 decades of research experience. So, of course, at that point, you don't need a degree. You're more qualified than somebody with a PhD. This is the thing about degrees, guys. It's just like a filter. It's not like that degree magically implants in your brain something that makes you worthy of a job. I know plenty of people with degrees that would make horrible employees. I know plenty of people with PhDs that would make terrible employees. I know many people, high school dropouts, that would make great employees if given a chance. All right. But it's a qualifying process. Clinical research is serious stuff. A lot of money at stake. At the site level, you're probably better off finding opportunities and honing your skills, sharpening your skills, figure things out on your own. I'm glad I'm here to be able to help answer questions. But I can only do so much. Even my 5-hour video, even my book, The Comprehensive Guide to Clinical Research, it's only enough to show you where you need to explore further. Like that's what it is. And that's what I mean by wake up and get it. These things, if you want to develop expertise or you want to learn something, you've got to learn it for yourself. You got to experience it for yourself. You can't absorb from someone else. And I'm glad I served that role for so many, but ideally, what makes that effective is you absorb from me where you need to go look further. Because it doesn't just end with what I say. I mean, I know I oversimplify things all the time. It requires work, guys. It requires a lot of work. Like this person who's a coordinator, where their site director suddenly passed away, and now there's a huge, huge problem. But remember, problems are opportunities. Problems are actually opportunities. One of the things I was taught in business school, probably the best thing I was taught, is that problems are not problems, they're opportunities. Now, for the vast majority of people, problems are problems. And they just live in that space where problems are problems and nothing else. But to the few that see them as opportunities and willing to work and willing to learn and willing to do things on their own, willing to, like the title says, wake up and get it on a Monday, those are the ones. And those are not the ones that ask for permission. If you put in your work, if you put in your time to learn something and research, even if you don't have experience, if you put in the time to learn what it takes to run a site, you can learn a lot of the technical stuff on the go, but it's really the attitude and the mindset. And if you're, by the way, if you're a coordinator, you already know how to run studies. So what does a site director do? They basically make sure all the studies are being run properly at scale, as opposed to just as a CRC, you're just making sure that your studies that you're responsible for. If you think about what a CRC is a site director for their study. Maybe there's a few things missing like budgets and contracts. You can learn all that stuff. If you wait for, if you have no contract and budget experience and you wait until you have some experience magically, or maybe you watch enough webinars, if you wait for that, it's too late. Opportunity's gone. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. Problems are not problems, they're opportunities. But they don't sit around forever. Problems either get worse to the point where nobody wants to solve it anymore, or it just becomes like not worth the effort to solve. The opportunity shrinks as the problem gets bigger. There comes a point in time where there's an inflection point. So initially the problem's there, opportunity's big, it's growing with the problem. At some point there's an inflection point, and every situation's different, where the problem the opportunity is no longer worth the ROI. It's easier to just start over. And that's what happens when companies go out of business and all those kind of things. All right. So point is, don't sit around forever. Look at problems as opportunities. Look them as gifts to your career. Stephanie, how would you recommend structuring your resume without clinical research experience to attract the employers with the trigger words that the application system will recognize to get the foot in the door? You can't fake it, Stephanie. Yes, there are transferable skills. You can dress up your CV. Actually, Ashley Margot is the best person I know for doing that. She's doing the CVs of our CRC Academy and CRA Academy students. I recommend Stephanie reaching out to her. If you need an introduction, let me know. Other than that, I think my strategy is to go seek an internship opportunity, even if it's for a week. If you go intern at a site, even for a week, I recommend a little longer than that, but let's say all you can do is a week, and you find whatever therapeutic indication that site did, you find a course on Coursera to supplement that, your lack of knowledge there. So for example, breast cancer. There's a free course on Coursera sponsored by Yale, Introduction to Breast Cancer. Doing something like that along with an internship at a site will go a long way. Now, sites don't want to waste their time, especially not in 2022. So you got to show the site why they need to bring you on, like what makes you special for somebody to waste their time, because intern is not free to the site. Somebody's got to be there, oversee the intern, right? It's not free labor for the site, it's opportunity cost. So you got to show the site what you can provide. What do all sites need? I keep saying it. Besides the extra help around the office here and there, they need more patients, more clinicians, more studies, and they need to increase their digital footprint. So if you can do any combination of that, in addition to helping them with whatever they need help with, data entry, filing papers in the regulatory binder, that's what you need to do. And that's what I mean by wake up and get it. You first need to realize that this is what sites need. And this is why it's good you're watching these videos. Now you know what these sites need. Now a go-getter is going to deconstruct those 4 things that I just said and pick which one they want to specialize in and figure out which sites they're going to go to and tell them that, and make it so that when the site, somebody talks to you from the site, they say there's no way we can't have this person intern here. First of all, she's going to keep coming back. She's persistent. Second of all, we can use that kind of energy around here. That's what, if you just sit around and wait, oh, well, how do I dress up my CV to get me in the door? You can do that. But you can do that along with this. You're golden. Especially somebody with a master's degree, Stephanie. That's what I recommend. Actually, Margot's a good start. My CRC or CRA Academy is a good start. But if you want to do it for free, just go to internet sites. Lisa says, I've been offered a role with a CRO as a proposal development associate. Would you recommend it as a path to becoming a CRA? It seems that finding a job as a CRA is difficult without experience. Hi, Lisa. So yeah, this would be a great precursor to like project manager. But I think you can go from proposal development associate to in-house CRA. I think you can do that. So basically what this role would be helping submit the bids to sponsors. So CROs submit bids, they get RFPs, requests for proposals from sponsors. Then they submit their proposal, which includes how they're going to run the study, how much it's going to cost, all those details. You're going to help with that. Then the sponsor collects all these from CROs and comes back with bid defense. It's called a bid defense. So it's gonna be, hey, well, why is this costing this? Can we? It's basically negotiating. They're basically the sponsors basically wants like the lowest. They don't necessarily want the lowest offer, but at the end of the day, they kind of try to get the best deal possible. So the tendency, and I'm not gonna go too far into this. I've done a few bid proposals because I own a small CRO, but definitely not enough to be an expert in this space. But I've done three. I've done three. So I know how it works. You're basically put up against other CROs. It's a race to the bottom. This is why I don't like the CRO business model. It's a race to the bottom, and costs eventually go up later once you win the proposal. So, long story short, Lisa, yes, get your start there. Don't stay there too long as a project development associate. If you want to be a CRA, try to immediately get to be in-house CRA as soon as you can. You're going to have a line manager who's in charge of fostering your career, cultivating your career. So good people are good people. They don't want to lose you to a competitor. So yes, just take it. Take it. Just Jeffrey, just wanted to thank you for providing info about clinical research. Recently began working as a data scientist, and your videos are very helpful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Jeffrey. Very helpful for creating a forecast. The forecast is sunny, guys. At least the next year. I think the next decade, but the next year. I'm very appreciative that you share experience and take time to do this live. Of course, Lisa, I'm not playing games. Rest of the year, I'm creating massive, massive, massive. Because I know that next year I'm going to get so busy with my site. I may not always get a chance to go live. So Christine says, Stephanie, write a value prop letter. There's the link for how to do that. All right. There's the link. Looks like greatcareersphl.org. How to write a value proposition letter. That's awesome. I didn't even know that. Stephanie says, thank you so much. LinkedIn user, are the internships you provide at the end of your CRC CRA only for the US or for other countries too? Our internship for CRA and for CRC actually is all remote. We have a CRO. We run real studies with the CRO, and we have the interns serve as junior CRAs. Myself, Chris, and a few others are the main CRAs and project managers and lead CRAs for this study. It's in small investigator-initiated trials, but they're real studies on clinicaltrials.gov. And you can do this from anywhere. It's remote monitoring. Stephanie says, I'm enrolled in the NIH training course right now. Do you think that's a good idea? NIH protecting human research subjects is like a free training you can do. Just get it out of the way. I don't think that's going to necessarily help you get your foot in the door, but it's a good start. I really think the interning is going to be what helps. But of course, at this point, anything you can add to your resume to boost it up is good. Marcel Ruiz, tomorrow, our Latinos in Clinical Research guest presenter. I'm going to put this again, our link again, because I haven't sent the email blast yet. So here's the link for tomorrow. So Marcel Ruiz says, hey, Stephanie, I worked with Ashley and highly recommend reaching out to her for resume review and LinkedIn optimization. I'm telling you, Ashley's like a master at this. There's nobody in the space like her. Nobody. And there's nobody in the space like our CRA and CRC academies. Period. There's others. You decide which ones. You know, which one's more practical. Oluwala, what's up? I've been following your beautiful work. Thank you. I am an international medical doctor interested in research, but I've been applying for more than a month and can't break into it. That's not enough. You need to apply for like 3 months, and at the same time, you need to go to sites, the smaller the better, research sites in your area, and tell them, like actually go in person with LinkedIn, so using both, and tell them that you're an IMG, you're willing to shadow and work for free. In addition, you're willing to help with getting patients for sites, getting studies for sites, getting other clinicians in the community involved in sites, digital marketing for sites. Pick one of those. For you, I would think it would be having physician to physician conversations in the community or clinician to clinician conversations because you have that technical expertise that most don't. I would just offer your services that way for free. For free. In exchange for them letting you shadow their coordinators. Then you put that on your resume. Either they will hire you because they love you, and all sites need more people now, or another site will. That's it. That's the way to do it. Being an IMG is a great advantage, but it's not enough just by itself to get you in most cases. And definitely not in a month. Stephanie says, Marcel Louis, I'm looking for her right now on LinkedIn. I'm a go-getter. There you go, Stephanie. How do you recommend I approach the industry? That's what I recommend. Oluwala, what I just said. It's not intuitive to go work for free, but you're only doing that for like a month. Think about it. You just spent the last month applying for free. This is just applying on steroids. What I just mentioned. That's all it is. And sites want that. The small sites want that. The universities could care less. Universities don't need help with any of those 4 things I mentioned, by the way. They do, but they don't think they do. There's no universities are all different. Don't go there. You're going to waste your time. Here's the link for tomorrow's live stream, for tomorrow's live Zoom with Marcela Ruiz. Nicholas says, hi, I'm starting a CRA 1 position and I'm new to CRA role. Do you have any advice? Nicholas, you're in for a world of hurt. It's a steep learning curve. You're going to struggle. I'm just going to keep it 100% with you right now. Keep it real. You're going to struggle. But if you persevere, that's how you're going to learn. That's how I learned how to be a CRC. How did you get the CRA 1 position? Oh, if you have experience as a CRC or as an in-house CRA, the struggle is not going to be that crazy. If you're completely new to research and somehow ended up in a CRA 1 position, the struggle is going to be real. If you have experience as a coordinator or in-house CRA, it's a little easier because you don't have to relearn the fundamentals. It's just the same fundamentals from a different context, a different perspective. LinkedIn user says, I'm looking to join your academy soon. Come one, come all. Thank you for the info on the Coursera course at Yale. There's Coursera courses for everything, guys. Christine found the TikTok lady. I'm going to take a picture of this. Let me take a picture of this so I can go. I'm old school, guys. I have TikTok, but I need to. This is how I'm going to find her. I would love to interview her. The lady who's a CRA with no bachelor's degree, which only because she was like at least a decade and a half, if not 2 decades of prior site experience. That's fine, but that's rare. How many people asking me this question are in that situation? Nobody, because if you're in that situation, you're not going to ask that question. So Just one of those things. Here's the link, latinosinClinicalResearch.com. Go out and get it. This is what I mean. Go out and get it. Think when you're trying to break in or you're trying to go to another position, think of what that company needs from you, not what you need from them. You should think of that already before you apply, but think of what they need from you and then go figure out a way to make it happen. Remember, companies got problems. Those are your opportunities. All right? Companies have problems. Those are your opportunities. Is being a CRC, Jay Rivera, is being a CRC a hard entry level position for someone that doesn't have clinical or research experience? It can be. Like the way I learned, I was just thrown into a situation. It was very difficult, but I'm glad I did because that expedited my development. If you go like at a bigger institution where things are more streamlined, they're going to bring you up slowly, which is good for you because it's a little less stressful, but it's also bad for you because it's a little slower, sometimes very slow, advancement of your career. So just like anything else is good and bad. It's not that simple. But yes, it can be hard entry level or it can be easy. And when it's easy, it's not as good for you long term. When it's difficult, as long as you don't shy away from it, it's better for you long term. It's like exercise. You know, you want to sprint. Which one's easier, to sprint, do wind sprints, or to jog? All right. Which one's easier? Or to power walk? Which one's easier? Rank those in order of difficulty. But then also rank those in order of, if you keep doing that, which one's going to get you healthiest, quickest, or make you lose weight quickest, or whatever your outcomes are. It's generally the inverse of that. That's how life works. Cruel. Mother Nature's cruel. Any more questions? I'm glad I got to do live stream again. This is live stream number 2 for the day. I do more. Not today. I'm not going to do any more today, but I'll do more videos today. And checking the LinkedIn. Rex, I love Rex, a YouTube member. How do you deal with a bad CTM, clinical trial manager? As a site, you try not to. I'm going to give you honest truth. As a site, like if I'm a coordinator and I have a bad CTM, I try to avoid them. I try to have all communication go through like the CRA, which is supposed to anyways. If the CTM insists on having a discussion with you, it's unavoidable. If you are a CRA, you have no choice, right? But you can always, like, if you have enough experience, 2 years, maybe even 1 year, you can just transfer somewhere else. You can transfer to another CRO or talk to somebody there about. I mean, that's a, like, in case of emergency, shatter glass, because you have to figure out, one of the things that makes you employable is you have to figure out how to deal with stressful situations and difficult work environments to a certain extent. Now, if this CTM is just extra, like extra especially difficult or bad, like you say, then there's no other option really. You try, you use the experience for your next interview to, when they ask you how do you deal with a stressful situation or a difficult, they always ask that. How do you deal? Give an example. This is a perfect example. And you have the proper response, and then basically the proper response is you continue to fulfill your job responsibilities despite them being a bad CTM. But I wouldn't stick around that long in this kind of a market. If you're an IMG, there are plenty of sites that can use your help. Volunteering doesn't have to be 40 hours a week. Do what you can. Yeah, get in and get out. I can't wait, Marcel, till tomorrow because I talk about this literally every day. I can't wait. Everybody go to latinosinClinicalResearch.com. Marcel Ruiz is going to be discussing this with us. Alicia Gonzalez. Generally, companies allow 4 years of research experience to replace bachelor's degree requirement. CRAs usually require 2 years clinical research experience, meaning 6 years clinical research experience for those without BS/BA. I didn't know that. I didn't know they actually had like standards like that. I know you're saying generally. Um, that's interesting, Alicia. Actually, Alicia, I would love to interview you on this and everything else because I know you've been commenting a lot. We've never really had much engagement. Would love to feature you on the podcast. If you're up for it, let me know. Just message me on LinkedIn, Alicia. Yusuf, how's it going? Game of Thrones avatar is on point. In my opinion, if you're an IMG, don't waste your time giving away free services. You're more than qualified to be a CRC. Yeah, I agree, Rex. I think a month, not much more than that, and not 40 hours a week for a month. Like a few hours a week for a month. I think it's enough to just get your foot in the door. Right? Because yes, you do have a lot of you have way more qualifications than most. It just sometimes the sites want like the risk free. As risk they're pretty risk averse. So as much risk as you can reduce from them, the better. The better for you long term. And just show that you're a go-getter. All right, Alicia, reach out to me. Everybody else, make sure you check out Marcel Ruiz tomorrow on latinosinClinicalResearch.com. I will be sending the email blast in an hour. So everybody go there, subscribe right now. And then if you're watching the replay, it's not too late. I'm sending another one tomorrow. See you guys later. I'll do another video. Have a happy Monday.